In Emmerdale, Paddy Kirk has only one priority right now: protecting his father. As the days pass, the situation becomes increasingly complicated. Although Fragile Bear has been charged with manslaughter instead of murder, the police are fully aware that he wasn't acting by himself. Paddy's excuse about attending a conference is just as shaky as Bear's fragile state of mind. Bear remains deeply traumatised by what happened to Ray Walters and seems close to falling apart at any second. DS Walsh is relentlessly pursuing the truth. She's convinced Bear couldn't have moved Ray's body on his own and is determined to pressure Paddy until he confesses. Because of this intense scrutiny, Paddy has been too frightened to let Bear access professional mental health support. Later in the week, Bear decides to act independently, going to the hospital in search of the medication his body is still craving. He leaves the hospital distressed and more exposed than ever, but even worse, he has violated his bail terms. He wanders down a deserted country road, weaving through traffic to avoid being seen. Meanwhile, Paddy has no clue where his father is and spends the entire night desperately trying to track him down. His situation worsens when DS Walsh arrives to inform him that Bear has breached his bail and attacked Jacob at the hospital. Consequently, once located, Bear will be taken into custody and kept on remand. For Paddy, this is devastating news, as he knows his father would never survive prison life. After an exhaustive search, Paddy finally discovers Bear, emotionally shattered and mourning beside Anya's vacant grave. Determined to shield his father, Paddy arranges for him to stay in a secure psychiatric facility. However, this decision only creates further complications for the village vet, as he soon finds himself facing yet another crisis. What will happen next? A shocking act of betrayal against Kim is set to come to light in Emmerdale, and her reaction will be explosive. From the moment Graham Foster reappeared in the village, Kim Tate has been wary of his intentions, and given their history, that's hardly unexpected. When Graham confidently returned to Home Farm, he claimed his reason for coming back was Joe Tate, whom he had once regarded as a son. At the time, both Kim and Joe made it clear they would have preferred him to remain in the past. However, circumstances have since shifted. Joe has now chosen to offer Graham a second opportunity, much to Kim's frustration. Adding to her irritation, Graham has also taken up residence under her roof. Kim remains convinced that Graham is self-serving and has only returned for personal advantage. Because she genuinely cares about Joe, watching him rebuild a bond with Graham is unsettling, especially as she fears he could end up hurt again. Her suspicions deepened in tonight's episode when she noticed Graham in conversation with an unexpected villager. Earlier that morning, Joe, Kim, and Graham were gathered in the kitchen discussing Kane Dingle's theft of the DeLorean. Joe insisted that Graham should retrieve the car, but Kim argued that she could handle it herself without escalating tensions. Joe dismissed her suggestion, reminding her that he had already entrusted Graham with the task. Was Kim feeling sidelined in that moment? Almost certainly, though she would never admit it. Graham later tracked the car down at Butler's, where he also came across a letter confirming Kane's cancer diagnosis. Attempting to reach out, Graham later approached Kane and even opened up about his own father's battle with prostate cancer in an effort to relate. Kane, however, had no interest in hearing him out. As night fell, Kane found himself unable to avoid Graham, who sat opposite him in the pub. Graham urged him to stop clashing with the Tates and instead prioritize his health and his relationship with Moira. He sealed the conversation with a handshake, promising to keep Kane's illness confidential. At that very moment, Kim entered and instantly sensed something wasn't right. In the coming week, she will carefully engineer a scenario designed to uncover whether Graham is secretly plotting against Joe. Since his return, Graham has repeatedly emphasized his loyalty to Joe. Yet he has also made it clear that he won't blindly follow every instruction Joe gives. Earlier, Kim warned Graham that she's prepared to play the long game to expose his true motives. Graham coolly responded that while she may be experienced at strategic battles, she isn't accustomed to losing them. The events of this episode suggest that Kim's belief that Graham is scheming to break Joe's heart again may not be entirely accurate. Instead, it raises a different possibility, that Graham's deep resentment toward Kim, combined with his unwavering devotion to Joe, could ultimately lead the two men to seize control of Home Farm, pushing Kim aside completely. Could this finally be the moment Kim meets an opponent she can't outmaneuver? Emmerdale viewers were left amazed when a familiar young character returned to screens looking much older than before. Evan Fletcher made a surprise appearance following a positive update about his health, delighting fans of the ITV soap. Billy Fletcher and his ex-wife Dawn welcomed Evan in 2023, but tragedy struck when he was diagnosed with leukemia before his first birthday. Since then, updates about his condition have been limited. However, in a recent episode, Billy and Dawn finally shared encouraging news about their son's recovery. The former couple had an emotional conversation, revealing that Evan's blood cancer treatment is working well. While discussing co-parenting and their separation, Billy suggested they share the good news together. Dawn agreed, calling it a significant moment for their family. Evan was later seen at Home Farm in a touching scene with Dawn and Kim Tate. Dawn admitted she now feels able to enjoy watching her son simply be a normal toddler, rather than constantly focusing on his illness. She also confirmed that her divorce from Billy has been finalized, meaning she is officially single as her relationship with Joe Tate progresses. Fans were stunned by how much Evan, played by Malachi McKenzie, has grown. Many took to social media to comment on his transformation. One viewer said they didn't realize he was old enough to walk, while another felt the storyline deserved more screen time. Others joked that Evan appears so rarely he might be a teenager next time he's shown. Facebook viewers also shared their happiness, describing him as adorable and noting how quickly he has grown up. An Emmerdale actor, Emmerdale star Bradley Riches, has opened up about Lewis Barton's future, revealing he hopes to stay on the ITV soap for as long as possible. Riches, known for Heartstopper and Celebrity Big Brother, joined the show in 2025 as Lewis, the long-lost son of Emma Barton and half-brother to Ross. Since arriving in the Dales, Lewis has been involved in major storylines, including the revelation that Robert Sugden's prison husband, Kev Townsend, is his biological father. Although Kev left before telling Lewis the truth, the storyline remains open for future drama. Bradley has said he feels happy and fulfilled in the role, and would gladly remain until the character is killed off. He also teased romance ahead, hinting Lewis may soon find a boyfriend, possibly Vinnie Dingle. Ross recently attempted to play matchmaker by arranging a romantic lunch, but the plan failed when Vinnie didn't show up. Despite the awkward setback, their slow-burn connection is set to progress. Upcoming scenes will see Lewis and Vinnie finally share a kiss after bonding during a farm emergency, though an unexpected twist could complicate their budding romance. Emmerdale airs on ITV1 on weeknights at 8 p.m. and is also available to stream on ITVX.